It's because when we put here, you have to go there and press the button.
Yeah, but I think she did it.
I'm going to, you have to double check.
Dasa Vrindavanam Vande Krishna Dasa Prabhum Tata Janavatar Chaitanya Lila Vishtar Kadino Lo Nityananda Prabja Karunadena Bhushito Vyata Chano Burachincho Vavande Vyasarupino Shri Guru Gaur Gandharva Govindas-cha Ganaisaha Jayanti Bhattakascha Sarvesham Karunartino. I'm just reading from this purport of Srila Swami Maharaj. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started the Sankirtan movement, even he was unnecessarily criticized by Mayavadis, atheists, and fools. Naturally, we are also criticized by such men. They will always remain and will always criticize anything that is actually good for human society. But the preachers of the Sankirtan movement should not be deterred by such criticism. Our method should be to convert such fools gradually by asking them to come and take prasadam and chant and dance with us. This should be our policy.
You get on the plaque.
Anyone who criticizes us, we should invite them to come and take prasadam and chant and dance. This is our policy. And we will gradually melt the hearts of all the criticizers, all the naysayers. So we are hearing about the tree of divine love, right? And now we've reached chapter 10. So we're going to hear more details about this tree. The trunk, branches, and sub-branches of the Chaitanya tree. Shri Chaitanya Paramboja Marupebhyo Namo Namaha Katanchirashayadisham Shapitad Ganda Bhagbavet. Let me repeatedly offer my respectful obeisances unto the bee-like devotees who always taste the honey of the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If even a doggish non-devotee somehow takes shelter of such devotees, he enjoys the aroma of the lotus flower. Jai Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Jai Dvaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. No translation necessary. Emalire Bhikya Akatya Katan Ebe Shunu Mukhya Shaka Nama Vivaran. The description of Lord Chaitanya as the gardener and the tree is inconceivable. Now hear with attention about the branches of this tree. Chaitanya Gosaya Jata Parishara Choi Guru Lagu Bhavta Nahoy Nishchoy. The associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were many, but none of them should be considered lower or higher. This cannot be ascertained. Jata Jata Mahanta Koila Tasabar Ganan Keho Kuribare Nare Jeshta Lagu Kram. All the great personalities in the line of Lord Chaitanya enumerated these devotees, but they could not distinguish between the greater and the lesser. Ateva Tasabare Kori Namaskar Nama Macha Kori Dosh Nalobe Amar. I offer my obeisances unto them as a token of respect. I request them not to consider my offenses. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prema Mara Taropriyan Shaka Rupam Bhakta Ganan Krishna Prema Full Pradan. I offer my obeisances unto all the dear devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the eternal tree of love of Godhead. I offer my respects to all the branches of the tree, the devotees of the Lord who distribute the fruit of love of Krishna. Shivas Pandidar Shriram Pandit, Dui Bai Dui Shaka Jagate Vidit. The two brothers, Srivas Pandit and Shriram Pandit, started two branches that are well known in the world. Shripati, Srinidhi, Tardui Sahodar, Chadibaida Dasa Dasi Griha Padikar. Their two brothers were named Shripati and Srinidhi. These four brothers and their servants and maidservants are considered one big branch. Vishakha Upashakai Tasabarganan Jagrihe Mahaprabhu Sada Sankirtan. There is no counting the sub-branches of these two branches. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu held congregational chanting daily at the house of Srivas Pandit. Okay, so I was wondering, this is the Srivas Thakur, Srivas Pandit, who's of the Panchatattva. And his home was like a center in Mahaprabhu's Navadvip Leela before he left to take sannyas. Mahaprabhu, he appears in Navadvip, right, in Mayapur, and he spends the first 24 years of his life there. And then he leaves to take sannyas. And so during that period in Navadvip, the home of Srivas Thakur was like a hub. And it's where they all used to gather for this like exclusive kirtan. It wasn't like a public kirtan where anyone could come, but it was like the inner circle of Mahaprabhu's associates.
Is that when they would do it at night?
Yeah, they'd have all night kirtans. Yeah. And it was a time when Mahaprabhu would kind of like just let loose and wear his heart, for all. And so it was a space where he would be free to express himself. And so that's why he was very particular about who could be there, because you can't reveal your heart to anyone and everyone. And he could feel in the atmosphere if there was an intruder, if there was an outsider there. And there's a very funny story. Even Srivas Thakur's mother, or was it his grandmother? His grandmother. She hides in a basket. An upside-down basket, because she's so eager to join this kirtan. But Mahaprabhu, he's like beginning his kirtan, then he stops. Wait, there's some outsider here. You can feel there's some difference in the vibration. So then everyone's looking, and then they have to remove her. This poor old grandma. And there's another story too of one Brahmin who's very proud, and he wanted to have entrance, but he wasn't given entrance, and so he became very angry, and he was very renounced. He would only drink milk. You heard this story, maybe?
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah. So he like thinks he's qualified because he only drinks milk. And Mahaprabhu tells him that, milk drinking is no qualification for kirtan or something like that.
It's not like milk drinking is not a qualification for Krishna consciousness.
Right.
It was like, when I was reading it, I was laughing so hard.
Yeah, Srila Sridhar Maharaj mentions it in Golden Volcano.
Yeah. Milk eating is not a qualification for Krishna consciousness.
Srivas is of the Panchatattva.
That's right.
That's where they have the kirtan.
At his home, Srivas Angan it's called. Angan means courtyard, as I understand. So.
Srivas Angan. And that's
We'll go there. We'll go there. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we'll go there. This is all not so long ago. 500 years. It's not so long ago. Everything's there. Mahaprabhu's birthplace. It's all like in a row, and you can see like where Mahaprabhu would, move around, and very special. So it was a very exclusive meeting point. It was like the center of Mahaprabhu's Nadia Leela. So this is Srivas Thakur. And there's also this whole sentiment when Mahaprabhu took sannyas. All of these like inner circle devotees, they were heartbroken, right? Because in when someone takes sannyas, especially in the more traditional Vedic culture, it's like they're, you can't have the same level of intimacy, and it's a life of great renunciation, austerity. Just the fact of him shaving his head, right? His beautiful curling hair, and he's not allowed. They're not allowed to stay in their birthplace. They're allowed to visit once after 5 years. So it was very painful for Mahaprabhu's intimate associates. And there's one prayer of Bhakti Thakur. It's at the end of it's a Navadip Bhava Taranga, I think. It's Ami Chai Gaur Chanje Loite Maya Pode, saying like, I want to see that beautiful Nimai. Nimai is his birth name. That beautiful Nimai with his long curling hair, and he mentions engaging in kirtan and Shivas Sangha in the place of Shivas Thakur. His beautiful silken dhoti, beautiful dress, beautiful hair, like that. These 4 brothers and their family members fully engaged in the service of Lord Chaitanya. They knew no other god or goddess. Nahi jane Devi Deva. Acharyaratnanam dore boro eka shaka tar parikata shaka upashaka. Another big branch was Acharya Ratna, and his associates were sub-branches. Acharya Ratnanam Shri Chandra Shekhar Jar Gore Devi Bhave Nachila Ishwar. Acharya Ratna was also named Shri Chandra Shekhar Acharya. In a drama in his house, Lord Chaitanya played the goddess of fortune. Pundarik Vidyanidhi Boroshaka Jani Jar Nam Loya Prabhu Kandila Apani. Pundarik Vidyanidhi, the 3rd big branch, was so dear to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that in his absence, Lord Chaitanya himself would sometimes cry. And all of these persons, right, who are parshads, right, we use this word parshad, means an eternal associate of the Lord. They also have a place in Krishna Leela. Because, Krishna never goes alone anywhere. So when he's appearing, and vice versa, and Mahaprabhu also. So when Krishna is appearing as Mahaprabhu, then he brings everyone with him. And they all have a place in Gaura Leela also. So this Pundarik Vidyanidhi, in Krishna Leela, he's actually the father of Srimati Radharani. Nanda Maharaj, right? No, not Nanda Maharaj. What is his name? Nanda Maharaj is Krishna's father. What's the name of Radharani's father? It mentions here. Come on. Somebody knows this.
I also
I've forgotten.
Srimati
Radharani. Vrishabhanu. Thank you. Vrishabhanu Raj. Yes. Bhurashaka Gadadhar Pandit Gosai Teo Lakshmi Rupadar Samake Honai. Gadadhar Pandit, the 4th branch, is described as an incarnation of the pleasure potency of Sri Krishna. No one therefore can equal him. So Gadadhar Pandit is Radharani, Radharani's appearance, manifestation in Gaura Leela. So very special position. Tar Shishya Upashishya Tar Upashaka Emata Sab Shaka Upashaka Leka. His disciples and grand disciples are his sub-branches. To describe them all would be difficult. Vrikeshwar Pandit Prabhu Boro Priya Britya Ekabhave Chabish Prahar Jar Nitya. Vrikeshwar Pandit, the 5th branch of the tree, was a very dear servant of Lord Chaitanya's. He would dance with constant ecstasy for 72 hours. So he's known as the dancer, Rakeshwar Pandit, very, very wonderful dancer. And there's one beautiful place later in Chaitanya Charitamrita where Mahaprabhu says to Rakeshwar, he says, you are like one wing, and if I had another wing, then I could fly, he says. And Rakeshwar Pandit, it's also mentioned sometimes that he was the only direct disciple of Mahaprabhu. Like he took initiation directly from Mahaprabhu. Because generally Mahaprabhu would not give initiation. You know, his followers gave initiation. It was a very, like nowadays, there's this whole mood of who's your guru, who's your guru. And, it wasn't like that then, How many rounds do you chant? How many rounds do you chant? But it wasn't like that then. It was very just like spontaneous, And Gadadhar Pandit had many disciples, Sanatana Goswami had disciples, Rupa Goswami had disciples. It was all just like nobody really cared actually. Right. It wasn't like a big deal. Of course, there are a lot of pure devotees to choose from. So Mahaprabhu didn't really give initiation, but it's mentioned that Rakeshwar Pandit may be his only disciple, his like direct disciple. And so it's quite an interesting point because Rakeshwar, there's actually a whole lineage continuing to this day from Rakeshwar Pandit at the Gambhir, Radha Kanta, I think it's called that mat, Radha Kanta mat.
So
Puri. Mm-hmm.
Basically they're all like disciples. They're going through parampara of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yeah. So it's quite interesting. Then you could say, there's Sahajya, there's Sahajya,
Wow.
that line. But then you can understand, then, the question comes, like, so why are we following Rupa Goswami, right? Why not Rakeshwar? Why did it go this way, not that way? And it's the Shiksha Guru Parampara, right? Not Diksha Guru Parampara. Because Mahaprabhu indicated that his real line was continuing through Rupa Goswami. Right? So even though Rakeshwar Pandit was his direct disciple, and of course a beloved associate of Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu showed that the real flow of his lineage was going to continue through Rupa.
But it became Sahaja over time, not by...
Yeah, over time.
It wasn't like...
No, of course not.
It's just like someone that decided like... Oh,
yeah, at a certain point, At a certain point, Yeah, one time we hear Saraswati Thakur was there, and I believe it was there at that mat, and there's this I won't repeat it because it's so ugly, but there's this one particular thing that they chant sometimes, and very funny conception. Oh, I hope I'm not going to offend certain people, but this is the case, We have to say what the truth is. But Saraswati Thakur fainted, because he was so disgusted to hear, their conception. So, yes, of course, over time. Rakeshwar Pandit, of course, he's an eternal associate of Mahaprabhu. He's a Parshad. He's Aniruddha in Krishna Lila. He's the grandson, right, of Krishna. Or maybe son. Pradyumna's maybe grandson. Aniruddha's maybe Krishna's son in Dwarka. Okay, enough of that. But it's an interesting point, right? Because it shows you that the current may not move in the way that you expect, right? And it's not the physical connection, but it's the spiritual connection. The zigzag line of the truth, as Srila Sridhar says. You have to have that discerning eye, to see, where is that current really flowing? What was the real indication? Apane Mahaprabhu gai jar nitya kale Prabhu Charandoni Vakeshwar bole. Mahaprabhu personally sang while Rakeshwar Pandit danced. Wow. And thus Rakreshwar Pandit fell at the lotus feet of the Lord and spoke as follows. Dashahasra Gandharva More Deho Chandra Mukh Tadagai Muinacha Tobe More Sukh. O Chandra Mukh, please give me 10,000 Gandharvas. What does he mean? Is that Krishna? Does he mean? Chandramukh means like moon-like face. Maybe he's calling to Krishna. Please give me 10,000 Gandharvas. You know what Gandharvas are?
Like the flying ships, no?
The flying ships, no.
No?
Gandharvas, they're heavenly beings. They're from higher planetary systems. And they're particularly known for being very expert in singing and dancing.
Oh, yeah.
And that name is given to our, Srila Sridhar Maharaj gave that name to his deity of Srimati Radharani in Navadvip. Right? That is her name there, Gandharva. It's indicating that. It's, her expertise is in singing and dancing.
What is the difference between Gandharvas and Apsaras?
Well, Apsaras, they're specifically beautiful women, right? Gandharvas are, I don't know, I'm not an expert in all these things, but I think Gandharvas can refer to women or men, and they're particularly saying here, singers. I don't know. But Apsaras, I've just heard beautiful heavenly women.
Maybe musical instruments or something.
I'm not sure. I don't know. There are so many different that we hear, right? Also, we hear about many different demonic species as well. There's many. We usually just use the word asura, but actually asura, that doesn't tell you that much. And also, it can just refer to a race. Like Prahlad Maharaj, he's born in an asura race, right? But he's not what we would call an asura. Asura is demon, usually translated like that. But it's also just like a race, And there's other races too in the lower planets. So Rakshasas, right? That's a race. So there's so many. Oh, it's right here, that comment of Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu says, please give me 10,000 Gandharvas, let them sing as I dance, then I will be greatly happy. Oh wait, hang on, sorry, that's Rakreshwar speaking. Oh, he's speaking to Mahaprabhu. So Chandramukha is referring to Mahaprabhu, I think. Yeah. So Rakreshwar is saying, please give me 10,000 Gandharvas, so while I'm dancing, they can sing, he's saying. Then I will be very happy. Then Mahaprabhu replied, I have only one wing like you, but if I had another, certainly I would fly in the sky. I thought that was later, but it's here. Pandit Jagadananda Prabhu Pranadup Loke Kyata Jeho Satya Bhamar Swarup. Pandit Jagadananda, the sixth branch of the Chaitanya tree, was celebrated as the life and soul of the Lord. He is known to have been an incarnation of Satyabhama, one of the chief queens of Lord Krishna. So Jagadananda Pandit is also one of the intimate associates of the Lord. Very unique relationship. Pritye karite chahe Prabhu lalam palan Vairagya lok boye Prabhu namane kakan. Jagadananda Pandit, as an incarnation of Satyabhama, always wanted to see the comfort of Lord Chaitanya. But since the Lord was a sannyasi, he did not accept the luxuries that Jagadananda Pandit offered. There's this one occasion when Jagadananda brings this special oil, maybe sandalwood oil, like for Mahaprabhu to, massage in his skin. And And Mahaprabhu says, I'm a sannyasi, it's not going to look good for me to use this luxurious oil, like body oil. And so he tells him, you can give it for the... And Jagannatha had carried it, I think, all the way from Vrindavan, right? He'd gone to a lot of trouble to carry it from Mahaprabhu, especially. And then Mahaprabhu says, you can give it for the service of Lord Jagannath there in Puri. Give it to the Jagannath temple. They can use it in the service of Lord Jagannath. And Jagannatha says, if I can't give it to you, then it's not for anybody. And then he smashes it on the ground. He's like that, Jagannatha. He gets very angry and he's very passionate. He breaks it. And then he doesn't eat for several days. He locks himself in his room. And then Mahaprabhu comes after a few days and asks him to cook for him, because it's the only way to get him to eat. So then he has to come out and cook for Mahaprabhu, and then he has to eat a little himself, like that. They sometimes appeared to fight over trifles, but these quarrels were based on their affection, of which I shall speak later. Raghava Pandit Prabhu Rajanuchar Tarika Shaka Mukhya Makaradwaja Koro. Raghava Pandit, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's original follower, is understood to have been the seventh branch. From him proceeded another sub-branch, headed by Makaradwaja Koro. Tarbagini Damayanti Prabhu Priya Dasi Prabhu Bhog Samagrije Kodevadamasi. Raghava Pandit's sister Damayanti was the dear maidservant of the Lord. She always collected various ingredients with which to cook for Lord Chaitanya. So, this, one of the interesting, social elements of the time is that women had to be in the background, especially in connection with sannyasis. It said Mahaprabhu wouldn't even hear the name of a woman. He was very strict like that. So women could not directly serve him or approach him in any way. But you hear how we hear some descriptions of some of them, like behind the scenes, they're offering very special service to Mahaprabhu. So this Damayanti is one of the ladies that we hear about. And she used to prepare these very elaborate, she would make preparations that could last for a long time. Because she would send them they lived in the Panihati area, which is close to Calcutta. And they would send it to Puri, right? And so chutneys and pickles and things like that, things that would last, could store for many, many months. And she would prepare these very elaborate things and then send them. Her brother would carry them. Would have been like a 2-week journey, carrying them, walking to Puri. And then they would be stored, they'd be given to Mahaprabhu's servant and be stored, and then slowly, over time, Mahaprabhu would eat them.
And the brother's name was?
Raghava Pandit, yeah. And it was very famous, and you hear this phrase, Raga Veda Jolly, means the bags of Raghava, because he would bring all these bags and bags of foods for Mahaprabhu. And we hear later also, there's this one time when, because there were many others also giving offerings for Mahaprabhu, and it's really, Kaviraj Goswami is very funny the way that he writes, sometimes. And so there's this description how, there's so many offerings coming to Mahaprabhu, and they've got some storage area, and it's just piling up. And then sometimes people are asking Mahaprabhu's servant, Govinda, has Mahaprabhu eaten, what I gave him? And he would lie, he's, oh, yes. Just like we would experience with Gurudev, right? I'm sure Saraswati told some white lies in her time, oh, did Gurudev get that special thing that I made, or get that special? Yes, of course. And then Govinda would like approach Mahaprabhu. Oh my Lord, you have all these offerings, please, take something, like that. And then suddenly Mahaprabhu one day like cleared through half of it or something like that,
But yes, the thought of offering is already been offered. Preparation, everything.
So it's not a lie.
You're already making it for the offering, so that's already been accepted with love, isn't it?
Yes.
It's no longer if, but just when.
Well, she's saying there's already been an exchange on the conscious level.
Yes.
Like, because that intention, like your intention is offering this, and then Gurudev's automatically accepting. Right? Maybe there hasn't been a physical transaction yet.
So many like gifts of maybe chocolates or whatever biscuits were given to Gurudev. He accepted that, and then he distributes that prasad to others. So not necessarily he will take them.
Right.
So that's
But he's accepting in his heart. Yeah. And some things he would receive also, like he wouldn't take it all, like the rice wine from the Chinese devotees. Rice wine, yeah. He kept it on his shelf,
Why would anyone give?
They don't know, They're showing like this is our, the best thing in our country, right? It's fancy. Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Yeah, some type of wine. And they don't know, They're simple-hearted, So Gurudev's not eating that, but he kept it very proudly on his shelf,
There's a picture, all the bottles are there. In the picture.
Oh, it was a few. I forgot. So yeah, it's all the conscious heart exchange, right? So. Okay, we'll read a little bit more. The foods Damayanti cooked for Lord Chaitanya when he was at Puri were carried in bags by her brother Raghava, without the knowledge of others. Varamasta Prabhu Korenangikar Raghavera Jali Bali Prasidi Jahar. Okay, it's mentioned here. The Lord accepted these foods throughout the entire year. Those bags are still celebrated as Raghavera Jali, the bags of Raghava Pandits. Se sab samagri age koribo vishtar Jahar Shavane Bhakti Vohe Ashudar. I shall describe the contents of the bags of Raghava Pandit later in this book. Hearing this narration, devotees generally cry and tears glide down from their eyes. It's one of the things that we appreciate so much about Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are some very elaborate descriptions of prasadam. Like very deep, like there are a few sections, it's just pages and pages, like with detail, varieties of prasadam. So this is one of those sections. We hear about all the different things that she would offer to Mahaprabhu. Prabhuradhyanta Priya Pandit Gangadas Jaha Smarane Hoy Sarva Bandhanash. Pandit Gangadas was the 8th dear branch of the tree of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One who remembers his activities attains freedom from all bondage. Chaitanya Parshad Shri Acharya Purandar Pita Kodi Jare Bole Gauranga Sundar. Shri Acharya Purandar, the 9th branch, was a constant associate of Lord Chaitanya's. The Lord accepted him as his father. Damodar Pandit Shaka Primite Prachanda Prabhu Pade Jeho Koidovakya Danda. Damodar Pandit, the 10th branch of the Chaitanya tree, was so elevated in love of Lord Chaitanya that he once unhesitatingly chastised the Lord with strong words. So Damodar Pandit is known for being very strict, even Mahaprabhu, making sure he's following like the proper social protocols and all these things, out of love. Dandakata kohiba, kohibo age vishta kodia, dande tushta prabhutade pataila nadia. Later in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, I shall describe this incident of chastisement in detail. The Lord, being very much satisfied by this chastisement, sent Damodar Pandit to Navadvip. Taha Anuj Shaka Shankar Pandit Prabhur Padopadan Jarnam Vidit. The 11th branch, the younger brother of Damodar Pandit, was known as Shankar Pandit. He was celebrated as the shoes of the Lord. Sadashiva Pandit Jar Prabhupadehash Pratame Nityananda Jar Godevas. Sadashiva Pandit, the 12th branch, was always eager to serve the lotus feet of the Lord. It was his good fortune that when Lord Nityananda came to Navadvip, he resided at his house. Shri Nishinga Upasaka Pradyumna Brahmachari Prabhutar Nam Koila Nishingananda Kodi. The 13th branch was Pradyumna Brahmachari, since he was a worshipper of Lord Nishinga Dev. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu changed his name to Nishingananda Brahmachari. Should we stop there, Didi, or a place to stop? Well, we are blessed just to hear the names of the Vaishnavas. So we're hearing the names of many, many Vaishnavas here. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami ki Jai. All the branches of the Chaitanya tree, all the branches and sub-branches and sub-sub-branches of the Chaitanya tree ki Jai.
Jai.
Vishakha Devi ki Jai.
We could, maybe instead of Hari Haraya, I could sing Amara Jiva.
Yeah.
You do that?
Make
Bridge.
that.
Oh,
You wish we come
my
true.
wishes come true.
Then we'll have it recorded here, so you can also access the recording here.
I just wanted to make a point about this offering thing. So the offering is not just happening when you put the plates in front of the Lord. It has to happen all the way from the cooking, gathering the ingredients and preparing and cooking. You have to have that consciousness that you are going to offer that to the Lord, isn't it? So sometimes we are cooking and then we forget all this preparation didn't go down. If you have that consciousness already is from a habit, then
Yes,
you will take it, right?
yes.
That's the idea. So we have to cultivate that consciousness.
Yeah, and actually it's not even considered to be really in the line of pure devotion if you don't start offering from the beginning, because otherwise it is like offering that is considered to be what's called karma mishra bhakti, like devotion mixed with karma, devotion mixed with action, because like you do something and then as an afterthought you offer it. That's not the real spirit of devotion, but that from the very beginning when you're going and buying the ingredients, when you're preparing and then cooking, and like at every step there's that mood of offering, then that is really in the line of devotion.
Like walking around the store and like, what will Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like for today? Something like that.
Well, I don't know if we're at that kind of level. Maybe you are.
No. I was just like jokingly like, when Radharani and Vishnupriya were cooking yesterday, they were late, like very late. And I would like come in the kitchen, I'm like, go on guys, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is hungry, faster, faster.
It's true. Gurudev told Nandarani in San Jose that they have this Mahaprabhu deity there, and that you've been there, that in San Jose. He said he told her to take care of him like she would her own son, that type of mood. And there's that personal element there, they're saying. Okay, we're going to sing Amara Jivan.
174.
Amara Jivan. Can you play the card? Your cards you're playing is so good. 170.
Oh.
Amada Jivan Sada Paperata Nahi Go Punyera Lesha. Amada Jivan Sada Paperata Nahi Go Punyera Lesha. Udede Udvega Diachi de Koto. Udede Udvega Diachi de Koto Diachi di Vera Kesha. Udede Udvega Diachi de Koto Diachi di Vera Kesha. Nija Sukha Lagi Papena Hidoni Doya Hina Satapado. Nija Sukha Lagi Papena Hidoni Doya Hina Satapado. Pada Suke Duki Sadame Chabashi. Pada Suke Duki Sadame Chabashi. Pada Duka Sukha Kodo. Pada Suke Duki Sadame Chabashi. Pada Duka Sukha Kodo. Ashesha Kamana Dimaje Mora Udibamba Padayana. Ashesha Kamana Dimaje Mora Udibamba Padayana. Madamata Sana Vishoye Mohita. Madamata Sana Vishoye Mohita. Imsagara Vibhushana. Madamata Sana Vishoye Mohita. Imsagara Vibhushana. Vijalasya Hata Sukaje Virata Akaje Ujo Vyami. Vijalasya Hata Sukaje Virata Akaje Ujo Vyami. Madamata Sada Vishoye Mohita. Patishalagiya Sajacharana. Patishalagiya Sajacharana Lobohata Sadakami. Patishalagiya Sajacharana Lobohata Sadakami. Bhakti, do you want to say the jais?
Jaya Savarika Sisi Kuranga Sundar Radha Giridhara Juki Om Vishnupat Sila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj Ki Om Vishnupat Sila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Om Vishnupat Sila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Bhagavan Sila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Namacharya Sila Haridas Thakur Ki Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Sri Acharya Vrinda Ki Sabashala Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Sabashala Sri Mama Prabhu Ki Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Kiri Govardhan Ki Tulasi Maharani Ki Ganga Yamuna Ju Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Sri Navadvipam Ki Sri Mayapudam Ki Sri Purushottamadam Ki Sri Vrindavandam Ki Jagannath Baladev Subhadraju Ki Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat East London Chapter Ki Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat West London Chapter Ki All glories to the assembled devotees Ki All glories to the world devotees Ki Sri Yukta Vishakha Devi Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Nitai Gaur Premanande
Srila Bhakti Pavanjanana Maharaj Ki Srila Bhakti Kusmasha Maharaj Ki